Then coming down here, you got the 5.5, right, corresponding with the R21. Then see here is a 23-inch. Not to be confused with the 15, right? So this is for a 24 on center bay, which is very important to note, obviously, when you're measuring and purchasing the right batting for your project. And this might be, after you figure out, your R factor, thickness, how big your bays are, this might be the most important thing in terms of measuring and purchasing the right amount of fiberglass is right here, the square feet, the total square feet that this particular bundle will be able to insulate. So it's 7 separate batch, right? It shows you that, and then it's 67.81 square feet. So what you're gonna do is simply take your entire square footage, always estimate up, right? You always want to round it up just to be safe, get a little extra, and then you divide your total square footage by the 67.81, and that'll give you how many bundles of, in this case, R21 you need to purchase. In terms of the installation, just a couple tips here, right? It's not rocket science, but a couple things. One, when you're measuring and cutting, always cut about 2 inches bigger than you actually need, because you're gonna fit it in there nice and snug. And when you fit it in there, you wanna kind of bend it inwards, right? Bend it inwards so that it goes into the bay like so. And then this paper on the side that you wanna staple onto the studs. Common misconception to staple it on the outside of the stud where the sheetrock's gonna go. You actually wanna staple that on the inside. So it's gonna fit nice and snugly in there. Put it in and then staple it with your hammer stapler on the outside. So it's not rocket science, right? But also it is actually pretty easy to mess it up. So you wanna get it right. You wanna get it right the first time. The mistakes that we often see are people purchasing, when they're DIYing, are people purchasing the wrong amount of material, so they're not doing their measuring or calculations correctly. Again, always estimate up. And we've seen people buy much too many bundles when doing a DIY project. So make sure you get that right. You don't want to overspend on this stuff. And then secondly, on the installation, paper goes towards the heated space. Make sure there's not a double moisture barrier that traps moisture. So make sure that the paper is going towards the heated space and there's not another vapor barrier. And lastly, fitting it nice and snug and no gaps. No gaps. Cut about 2 inches bigger than you need. Fit it in there nice and snug. Staple it to the studs on the inside. And if you do it right, it actually looks pretty good and it performs even better. So happy DIYing, everyone.